Good morning, my name is Colton and welcome to Wednesday of Assemblies. I'm excited for today's assembly and we start with devotions from Kate.
I volunteered to lead devotions today because I think God's been encouraging me to do it for a while now. And I think I've kind of finally figured out what He's put on my heart that He wants me to say. So yeah, I hope you'll listen and keep an open mind. And first off, I'm going to start kind of with like a story. So once I was talking to a friend who had a bloody nose, and I jokingly asked him if one of his brothers had, punched him or something, and no, it just started bleeding. And my response to that was, that sucks. And his response was, that's life. And he was right, and he still is. Life is tough, and sometimes even bloody, and you've got to roll with the punches and do your best. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that I could have said, yeah, that is life. But sometimes life sucks, because that's also true. And the thing I think we struggle to realize is that it's okay to admit that life can suck, and sometimes things aren't okay. And maybe there's a reason, and maybe there's not, but that doesn't change the fact that we feel what we feel and that we struggle. And I think it's important to remember in the midst of all this, the truth of our identity. And this quote from an article I had to read for one of my classes says it really well. When we come to understand that all things were created by His hand, then we'll see Him in everything around us, in our joys and in our trials, in our warmest smiles and stiffest headaches. All of life can be worship when we come to know that all of life is God's. This kind of thing can be hard to accept. I mean, how can God still be in control if terrible things happen? And I don't think we'll ever truly know the answer. But I've been thinking this over, and I've kind of been wondering to myself, what if we were thankful for our shattered hearts? And what if we were thankful for whatever terrible circumstances broke them? Because after all, they are part of what made us who we are today. Stronger, better, more faithful, and even more beautiful than we were before. Because God takes broken things and makes them beautiful. And that's in His job description. That's what He does. And we may not think our fragile hearts filled with holes, sharp edges, and covered in cracks glued back together with His love are very pretty. But thankfully that's not up to us. He loves us just the way we are and meets us in the dark valleys we find ourselves stuck in. He brings us up out of our nightmares and puts us back together. And we'll never be the same, but we'll be changed for the better. Because the light and love that we hold within can't be shared unless there's some holes and cracks to let it out. And only then can others feel His love and acceptance too and be healed. After all, it's kind of a love that's meant to be shared. So what if we could let our struggles bring us together, because we all have them, and let His amazing love heal our broken hearts?
Well, thanks, Kate, so much for leading us in those devotions today. The song that was playing in the background is a song by Elevation Worship called Graves into Gardens, and there's just fantastic words in that song, and I was reminded of it through your devotions, Kate. So if you want, you can check out that song on YouTube or on Spotify or iTunes. And just, the song talks about when God can turn our mourning into dancing or our graves into gardens. And I think that, the perspective you gave in your devotions was fantastic. So thanks, Kate. We're going to move on in the assembly, and I am excited to introduce Arianna, who is in grade 11, and she is going to show us her artwork. So thank you to you, Arianna, for showing us this work. And after that, we have another special segment of Cooking with Miss Contos, and this is actually a team effort with her and with Craig. So yeah, we'll check these out now.
I'm Arianna from grade 11, and I thought I'd show you guys my art, how long I've been doing art, my techniques, some assignments from class, and what I've been up to in quarantine. So this is my sketchbook from grade 11 art class. Doing art since I could hold a pencil. I went to many art schools. I drew wherever I could, whenever I could. There's art at my dad's house, my mom's house, my grandparents' house, my room. So most of my art isn't with me. I give away a lot of my art, but some of my favorites I do keep for myself. I got first place in the Woodbridge Fair to stop hunger in Haiti, and it just kind of keeps going. You've probably seen this in school, and then I got it back. I'm gonna start off with some of my personal favorite drawings that aren't assignments. These are just drawings that I do on my own time. And here is some of my practice. I do like to exaggerate some of my characters like this. This is just my style. I'm not much of a realistic drawer. I am very much like to draw cartoons. In my other more recent sketchbook, I take requests. And you tell me what to draw, and I draw it. One of these was skulls. These masks. Harry Potter. This elf lady. I do have a hard time getting inspiration, so I'd say something to work on for becoming a creative person is definitely inspiration. So I get most of my inspiration from requests. This is from my father. The Plague Doctor, very fitting. Chowder, personal favorite show. A personal favorite movie. This is an older sketchbook from grade 10. I was figuring out what I liked. I do really enjoy abstract drawing. I do like drawing exaggerated features on faces. I really liked Bob's Burgers. This was one of my first face portraits, and I can tell you I have dramatically improved. Moving on to some art assignments. I like to do my art on a smaller scale. Why, you may ask? Because you can put more effort into things if you're doing it on a smaller scale. You can see I can color better. You won't have those ugly lines. This is my recreation Scream. I first started off with an idea, and that idea, I'd say for me, takes most of my time up. I can be sitting there for hours thinking of an idea. Once I get the idea, I can execute it in maybe 20 minutes. This took about 30 minutes. If I were to do this on a larger scale, I would be stressing myself out more, and it's not worth it. Do things on a smaller scale. This is one of my botanical drawings that I had to do for art class last week. My favorite one is not with me because I do give away most of my art. Like I said, it is at my dad's house. I will put a picture up somewhere so you can see it. But this is one of them. It is to remind us all that spring is coming. I started off with my idea. I love dandelions. I don't care if it's a weed. They are beautiful. Also drew this one in color. This one I made more cartoony. My mom got flowers for Mother's Day from her mom, and that's what I drew. One of my personal favorite assignments is my cartoons explaining what I've been up to in quarantine, and this is it. I will put up some close-up pictures so you guys can see it. This took a very long time. There is more over here, but it's kind of where the cartoon ends. I'd like to be realistic and show people that it is rough being in quarantine. It is very difficult being alone all the time and not being able to see your friends and not being able to go to school and not being able to do anything. I would like to show that it did take a very long time, and I hold this very dear to my heart. I'd say this took me about 5 days, about 2 hours every day. You do the math, about 10 hours. I started off with my idea, I then executed it in pencil. I drew all of these boxes out in pencil first, then I went in and lined it with black pen. Then I went and outlined the boxes in a thicker line with black pen, and then I colored it. I do have a really hard time coloring my work because I do hate adding color to my work because sometimes I can ruin it or get frustrated and color very terribly, but I'd like to say that this turned out quite beautifully. It's me using smaller scale again to increase the quality of my work. If I were to do this all the way around, you would see awful coloring technique because you start to lose patience. So I'd say keep your art on a small scale. It becomes much more professional looking. Like I said, guys, I do give away a lot of my work. Not all of my work is with me. You will see my work across in other people's classrooms, in the hallways, my family's houses. Not all my work stays with me because I think it is more sentimental to give away your art. But I will have a little slideshow and show you guys all of my work that I have very dear to my heart. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of this, and keep in mind, small scale, take your time, practice makes perfect, and don't be hard on yourself. Don't compare your work to other people's work because your work will never be someone else's. Instead, compare your work to your older work, and I will show you guys how I compare my older work to mine now.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Contos and Craig Outdoor Edition. Okay, Craig, what are we going to be cooking today?
Well, we're going to see what Mother Nature provides for us today.
All right, well, that was easy.
All right, now that we got our lunch, we'll prep it. Get it snug.
All right, looks like it's ready to go. And once again, we have another gourmet meal from Craig. Thank you.
Well, thanks again to Arianna for showing us your artwork, and thank you again to Miss Contos and to Craig for that cooking episode. And yeah, just again, really thankful for the creative things that keep getting sent my way that I can share at assemblies. We're going to end off today's assembly with some more of your pet videos. So thank you for that, and make sure you come back tomorrow for more content. We'll see you then.
For the pet therapy segment of Assembly,